I'm going to take you through 3 ways that you can do bilateral attached upper body band training. First and foremost, it's very simple. Just take a pair of bands. You have a pair of bands, you have a secure structure. In this case, my pipe, I'm going to take both bands, loop them together at the same time. So I'm going to wrap them around and hook them and slide them through. So you'll see I have my smaller circle and my longer end of the band. I'm going to take the longer end, loop it through, and just pull it tight. Now, why would I want to go ahead and attach both bands on like this at the same time? Because it's going to create immediately equal tension on both bands. So now when I go ahead and train bilaterally, I have it set up. I can easily go ahead and perform any type of bilateral movement that I want. The second way is to go ahead and do the looped over setup. I have a purple large band here. Let's say that I only have one purple band and I only have one red or black medium band or red small band. I'm going to take my red band in this case, loop it through the purple band, and that's now going to create a bilateral setup for me to go ahead and train. So now I have 2 loops and I have a longer system, so I can easily go ahead and do my bilateral training. The difference with this setup versus the pair of bands, some of you might have shorter arms, so as a result of that, as you go to press out, you might feel the band press against your rib cage slightly, but typically not a big deal. All right, so that's a way to go ahead and do bilateral training when you have single bands and you don't have a pair of bands. The final way to do bilateral training, but is a very limited way, is to just take a single band and loop it behind the bar or behind your secure attachment. Now what you can do is go behind and you now have the ability to do bilateral training. In this case, I'll do bent over presses. Now, issue with this is very simple. By looping one band around, you have gone ahead and made the band only half its length. As a result of that, you only have about 1 yard of resistance or 1 yard of tension to work with, and you are going to start with a very high level of starting tension. So when I get to this point, the band is already on a very significant stretch. Now when I go to press, I'm going to be pushing against a pretty strong resistance. So that's another issue with doing this short band setup. The last thing with this setup is I see that people often overstretch their band and ultimately start to tether their band because they don't realize that they are stretching it out as far as they are. So my suggestion is, if you want to do bilateral upper body training, go with a pair of bands or go with a looped over band setup as your primary way of training upper body bilateral work.